Back in 2006, I was ridiculously excited to see Pyramid Head come to life on screen in the film adaptation of Silent Hill. I thought the movie was okay back then. So, 20 years later, does it still hold up? And do I still feel the same? Welcome to Forever Fangirls, where fandom is ageless. I'm your host, Kimberly, and on this week's episode, we are opening up the Vintage Vault. Now, if you're new to this channel, you might not know, but I am an avid gamer. For me, a solid game series just pulls you in and keeps you invested until the story ends, no matter how many hours of your life you put into it. The fact is, a great game has story and development and lore and emotional attachment that movies and television could only dream of. And maybe that's because we're behind the controllers making those decisions. And maybe that's why screen adaptations struggle to bring these projects to life as well. That hasn't stopped them from trying, and the newest entries actually return to Silent Hill, and it releases in January of 2026. I'd love to review that film. I really would. But it's not showing in a theater within 25 miles of me. So unless Cineverse or anyone with that production wants to hook me up, I'm going to tackle the 2006 film for now and wait for the other one to either be released wider or come on streaming. But from here on out, there will be minor spoilers along the way. Consider that your warning.
Spoiler alert.
In case you're not familiar with the video games, this actually isn't a direct frame-for-frame remake of it. In this film, we follow Rose Da Silva, played by Rita Mitchell, and her adopted daughter Sharon, played by Jodelle Ferland. Sharon has these horrific nightmares where she's constantly mentioning Silent Hill.
Silent Hill! Silent Hill!
Rose! In an attempt to get to the bottom of it and help her child, Rose actually heads to Silent Hill. Now, this is a horror film and a horror game after all, so nothing can go right. Rose crashes her car. When she wakes up, Sharon's gone, so she and a police officer have to navigate the terrors hidden within the town's borders if they want to survive. And that's if they can escape Silent Hill at all.
I don't like the sound of that.
When I saw this in theaters back in 2006, like I mentioned, I was excited, but I actually also really enjoyed the film. Sheila even enjoyed the film, and she knows nothing about Silent Hill, nor does she play video games unless it isn't the original Nintendo or on her phone. Look, the film's not perfect. I mean, far from perfect, but it's enjoyable. Especially considering the lackluster video games we had gotten up to that point. So with the return of Silent Hill, I wanted to see it again, and I want to see if it holds up, and if I still actually enjoyed it, or if younger me was just really desperate for a great video game movie, and that was the best we had. Starting with the pros, the visuals to me are still great. The town, especially when it shifts to that landscape of hell with the walls peeling and the nurse's design and Pyramid Head, it feels like they walk out of the game and into reality. That attention to detail extends even to Rose's outfit shifting color. The longer she's in Silent Hill, learning the history, its secrets, it reflects on her physically as the color of her outfit goes from gray to this rust red. It's a dimension to the character done in physical form so that you don't have to have like info dumping. And it really helps, I think, add another layer, especially considering how she's home but not home at the end of the film. If you have this great world that you've built and designed and it looks like it's walked out of the game, the next logical step is to take the music from the game. And they did. And it continues to add layers upon layers upon layers of eerie elements and evokes fear, and it's absolutely perfect. And it was amazing to see that the production crew took what worked from the game, even though they changed the story dramatically. But thankfully, they actually have actors that allow the story to lead them. So even though it is different, it still works because they do enough to make you care about their characters, but they don't pull the focus away from the world around them, which in truth to me was the most important character. No positive discussion of this film would be complete without delving into the themes, and there's a lot, and I could talk for hours, so I'm just going to focus on two of them. First, you've got the reality versus illusion between the decomposing town of Silent Hill and the horrific world it turns into. Today, I would compare that to like reality versus spin or fake news. What you perceive the truth to be is based on what you interpret it to be. So Silent Hill can be that dilapidated town, or the ash-raining purgatory, or the nightmare with monsters lurking everywhere around every corner just wanting to unalive you like Pyramid Head and nurses. The nurses really scare me. But I digress. Anyway, it's as if the town itself is a manifestation of your torment, your fears, your experiences, and the way one human can just flip a switch between decay, purgatory, and pure horror. And then, and I have to cover this, religious fundamentalism and hypocrisy, because it's the most glaring theme of the entire film. You've literally got a cult at the center of the film demanding a sacrifice to bring paradise to the rest of them, because nothing says joy like removing somebody else for your own personal gain. Yay! Anyway, it encapsulates extreme action laced with corruption, forcing judgment on an outside force to blame for your current situation. I don't think I need to explain the relevance of this theme in 2026, but we all do know places that use faith as a shield as they commit horrific atrocities, and that's nothing new. And that in and of itself is the most terrifying aspect of this movie. More than Pyramid Head, more than the nurses, more than those creepy children, more than the secrets and the lies. It is the people in the church. And I think that's the point. I think we are supposed to look at mankind and realize that mankind is actually the parasite. Mankind is the horror. Pyramid Head is just our manifestation. The story has a lot more depth to it beyond those two themes. And frankly, it really does well explaining it without like that annoying hand-holding some films have a tendency to do. Again, not perfect, but you feel more like you're along for the ride than you have a guide at a museum going, oh, look, this is where the plot's going to give you 10 minutes of info dumping, and then we're going to give you a jump scare around the corner. Yay! It doesn't do that. And it's better for it, for not doing that. On Forever Fangirls, we do support women in film and LGBTQ plus characters or actors as well as allies. So where does this film fall? The film has a ton of strong women leading the charge the entire way. In fact, it actually aces the Bechdel test by having more than two women in the film not only talk to one another, but they focus on surviving and don't lean on men to do it, nor do they fawn on them in every conversation. It's kind of refreshing. Then again, horror and sci-fi sometimes seem to do this better than regular films. All those positives aside, the film isn't perfect, and Sean Bean, unfortunately, is one of the biggest reasons why. He's a great actor, but his character in this film felt unnecessary. In fact, I'm literally watching his scenes really wanting to press the fast forward button to get back to Silent Hill because of what they developed, because of the ambiance and the story going on there. His character just felt shoehorned in, and it didn't quite work for me. But on a positive note, at least Sean Bean's character survived the entire movie, unlike a certain television show.
He's from Game of Thrones.
While not perfect, Silent Hill is a dark look into timeless themes that radiate today. The immersive visuals still hold up, and the fear they evoke and the music creates for an entertaining experience. So what would I rate the film? Well, considering that it's not available in theaters, I can't tell you to go run out and buy tickets, but 2006 Silent Hill does earn a rating of Stream It. That being said, I had to rent it because it's not available on any streaming service that I subscribe to in the US, so I don't know if it's available for streaming. Try it, rent it, buy it, whatever. It's worth a watch. But that's going to do it for me. Have you seen the original Silent Hill? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to slam that subscribe button so you don't miss any future reviews, reactions, or interviews that we have coming up. And until next time, stay safe, be kind, and remember, regardless of the darkness outside our doors, we choose how we face it. As Dahlia says, evil wakes in vengeance. Be careful what you choose.